Yeah, check, check. What, 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 what? May panis pa sa tindahan. Ang tabang kasi ng ang ulam. Salo ngayon, biniliksyon, 5 desert pulburon. Masaya namin, kung sinain sa sobrang kanin. Oy, okay lang. Tubig sa bigas natin kulang.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of my podcast. We have a special guest today, all the way from Spain. We have Lucifer, the Dark Lord of teething. Hi Lucifer.
What's up? How you doing, dude? It's early here. It's 9 o'clock right now. Thanks for waking me up.
It's good. We're doing good. So, how are you doing? I know Spain was really hit with the COVID very hard. So how are you managing things? How is the life in Spain?
Okay, so apart from the obvious, it's been 70 days. We've been on total lockdown, and you know what? I'm actually personally myself. I'm actually kind of enjoying this. It's kind of like the government's forcing us to relax a bit, you know, and like spend some quality time with ourselves, with our loved ones, you know. So I'm usually like a stressful kind of guy. I'm always like, I gotta do this, but this has like made me bring it down a notch. So all is good, actually, man.
Right.
How are you doing? How's everything back in Manila?
Manila, it's we kind of not really fully locked down. People kind of going out now, but I think we are sort of flattening the curve already. I think so. I think things are starting to open up a little bit. We are still working from home, still fine.
Okay.
As you said, it's a good time to spend time with the family, and I enjoy having dinner every night with the family. Otherwise, you know, on a regular day, it doesn't happen.
Nice.
I do miss the concerts because, you know, as I got a lot of concerts, but now, you know.
Yeah, man. What was the last concert you went to?
The last one was we had a Japanese band called Hydrophobia. There was actually it's supposed to be the Nunslaughter, but Nunslaughter wasn't able to come, so they fill it with a Japanese band. That was like March. I think that was the last gig.
Shit, man. Okay. Oh, well.
Yeah. So Luis, I met you during your show in Manila. I think September last year, 2019.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's the first time I mean, only like couple of weeks before that show, I actually got to know Teething when they published the poster. I was looking at who's this? What is this band Teething? It looks very interesting.
Nice.
I know that you have a Filipino heritage, right? So can you tell me a bit about your story?
Of course, yeah, man. So Filipino mother and Spanish father. Okay, I was born in Manila, because that's where my parents were living at the time. But I only lived in Manila in the Philippines for 8 months,
Right.
and then due to my father's work, we moved to Taiwan for a couple of years, and then after that, we went to Spain, where I've been most of the time. But like, I have a very strong bond with the Philippines because I have a I have a lot of aunts and uncles and cousins, you know, so I try to go back as often as possible. I'm very close with my family, like a lot of Filipinos are, you know.
Right.
So that's my story, and I have a very, you know, my mom, very Filipino, always cooking us like Filipino dishes, all kinds of pancit, lumpia, you name it, man. So like I have it very, it's very much in me, you know,
Right.
the Pinoy.
Yeah. So in which part of Philippines you originally your family your mother is from?
Makati.
Ah, okay. I live in Makati as
Makati.
well.
Okay. Okay, nice, nice.
Yeah, yeah.
But
It's
Makati is huge. Yeah, so yeah,
yeah.
man.
I've been living here for like 13 years already in the Philippines. So I love Makati because Makati is really a cool city.
I have a question. Since you were telling me you lived in the Philippines for how long?
13 years.
Okay. Have you've seen a growth of like touring bands, right? Like
Right.
there's been a lot more concerts the past couple of years.
Yes.
Nice. So
Mainly, I
you're
think,
very happy about that.
yeah, I think around 2016 up to 2019, that there was a big push of bands coming in. All the big players
And
came
why do you
in.
think that is?
I think Filipinos are more. I think the Philippine audience is more visible to these bands now. I think because of all these platforms, YouTube and all these platforms, they see there's a lot of musical interest, and then most of the time these bands have some sort of a connection to Philippines. Sometimes, like they have a bandmate who's born in the Philippines, like for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so they kind of include Philippines when they are trying to tour Asia.
Yeah, cause for the longest time, my memory, like Philippines hasn't always been on the map, but I remember some of the like some of these there've been a couple of steps, right? Like Journey got the singer from the Philippines, and then
Yeah.
I remember like I think this was like about 10 years ago, the band Shadows Fall, they put out like I think a live DVD or a CD
Yes.
in the Philippines. So it's been like progressive. It's been really interesting, and very very proud to see that like Philippines is finally on the map, you know.
Yeah. So Luis, how did I know you play with teething, and I want to know like your musical kind of taste, and how did you? What's your earliest memories of music? What bands did you listen to when you
Okay.
were very younger?
Okay, so for my as a little kid, my first love was cinema, specifically like horror movies.
Right.
And then like that was my big thing. Like every Friday I would beg my dad to please take me to go rent a movie. But then like slowly after that, I started getting into music. My first like musical love was Michael Jackson,
Right.
but as a very very young age. But and then I got into like and then and then I started getting into like heavier stuff because I luckily I have an older brother, and I remember in 1996 my brother went to see Metallica, Corrosion of Conformity, and Soundgarden in Madrid. And I remember him going to the show and just like telling me all about it, playing me like the CDs. So he used to like I must have been 10 at the time, and he was probably like 16 or 17. So he would like pass all of these like heavy metal bands to me, you know? So that was like my first big thing. And then eventually I got into like heavier stuff. I got into punk, I got into hardcore, and that's the story pretty much.
So what were the earlier hardcore bands did you listen to?
Okay, so I'd let me think. So I remember getting the Mortal Kombat CD, the
Right.
soundtrack for the movie. Okay, and I wasn't aware of most of the bands on the compilation, but Napalm Death was on it.
Right.
Not necessarily, it's not necessarily hardcore, but just a grindcore, you know, like a very fast extreme version of hardcore. So that blew me away. And
Yeah.
I was really young then too, but I didn't get fully immersed into grindcore and Napalm Death yet. I just had that one song. But I'd say um Hatebreed was the first like hardcore band that I really, really got into.
Right.
Someone lent me Satisfaction is the Death of Desire, and of course I think that blew everyone's mind away, you know. I'm
Yeah.
sure that happened to you first time you heard that album.
Yes. Yeah, Hatebreed been one of my favorite bands actually, because sort of, yeah, you're right, because I discovered kind of hardcore sound listening to Hatebreed.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
And then eventually I started going to hardcore shows and like seeing because I had been to like other shows, you know. I had seen like Slipknot, Deftones, Korn, stuff like that. But and then I started going to like hardcore shows, and like I really like the whole like DIY ethos, like how there was like a very much a sense of community, like there was no security guards, like anyone could do whatever the fuck they wanted, like get on stage, or but no one was like being a dickhead, you know. Everyone was there to help each other out. If someone fell on the ground, like 5 people would go to pick that person up. So I really felt drawn to that sense of community.
Yeah. So now listening to the music, and then how did you discover that that you can sing and that you wanted to sing? Or did you also try other instruments, try to play guitar and stuff?
I did. I dabbled in a few instruments, but I came to the realization at a very young age that I couldn't hold the rhythm.
Right.
So I had some friends who would go hit the, you know, they had a rehearsal space, and then I'd go there, hang out, and then one day they actually covered a Hatebreed song, Last Breath, off Satisfaction.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, give me the fucking mic, man. So I tried it out, and I'm like, hey, I got some pipes, you know, like maybe I should focus on this. So it's just through going to friends' rehearsal spots and just like fucking around with the mic. And then you know, for several years I really wanted to put a band together, and I'd say I've had a lot of like bands, as you do when you're a kid. I started being in bands when I was like 16 maybe, but nothing serious, you know, just. But at the age of when I was 17, I joined a band called Nacen de las Cenizas, and yeah, we fucked around for a couple of years. We played like some really cool shows, and then it was finally when I put together Teething that yeah, I think I was able to like Teething was more my ideal vision of a band. Like it sounded very extreme, everything was very extreme. So my other bands I don't feel very close to, like I don't feel identified to them. So Teething has been around for almost 10 years, and very proud to say so.
So if you describe Teething, how would you describe Teething?
Okay, so let me think about this. I'd say very let me see, very raw, very just like a straight to the point. No, very raw, very straight to the point. But we also like, there's a lot of hate in it, but I'd also say like something, there's like a black humor component to it. There's also a lot of nostalgia. How would you describe Teething? That's what interests me. I want to hear like what other people, how they perceive Teething.
Yeah, so when I saw the post that the venue put it out at the local, right, Mouse, so I was so kind of expecting that it would be very hardcore punk show, right? I was expecting that there will be all this, you know, the there will be punks with the cuts, and because the Ralph's image, you're
Yeah.
so I was expecting this is going to be a shitty show, right? Actually, but we always go and support those guys who have put the shows. So I went in and I met you guys, and I saw the merch and stuff, and then when you guys started playing, oh my god, it was really amazing, man, because you guys have like that thing where I think the fans, the people that on the floor, they got really kind of mesmerized with you guys.
Nice, man. That's
Because I recorded some of your songs, and the one that I put out on the previous interview with my friend. So I was really thinking about what to put out, and then I was talking to my friend about concerts and stuff, right? So I wanted to highlight which band. Then I choose you guys. So because that was one of the most impacting shows I went with my friend. So
wow, that means a lot coming from you, because I know you go to a lot of shows, man. So
yes,
I'm glad. I sometimes it feels like the struggle is real. We're always like, as I said, like, it's been a lot of years. We love it, but we're still playing these small shows. It seems like not a lot of people know us, so it's really nice to hear when people like you have when anyone has like really something nice to say about us. So I
yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, so T-Things, you guys started like 2011, right? And
Yes,
so
correct.
you had went through a couple of lineup changes. So what is the current lineup of T-Thing?
Okay, so the current lineup of Teething, there's been a couple. We're all original members except the guitarist. By the way, this is Bingo. He's
Hi.
not. So there's been a couple of lineup changes just in the guitarist department. Okay, we've had 3 different guitarists.
Right.
There's been Carlos, Danny, and Antonio, who's been with us for the past couple of, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years, and we're very much happy with him, and I don't see him leaving anytime soon. So your original question was to tell you about the lineup? Sorry, I got
Just the
okay.
lineup. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, by the way, funny about this, when you came to the Manila show when we met, you brought us this promotional picture for us to sign, and it was the wrong guitarist. So that was pretty funny. So he just signed on his face. I just remember that. And we've been together since 2011. And does that answer your question?
Yes. Okay. So I know that you play smaller shows, but you have actually played several big festivals as well, right? Like Resurrection Fest, Download. So can you tell me about playing like in Resurrection Fest
man.
or Download?
Yeah, man. We've played bigger shows too. It's not very common, but we have, and man, it's really cool. But let me say this, where we feel comfortable, it's the smaller shows. Like Moe's is a perfect example. Just as a parentheses, Moe's definitely goes in like my top 3 teething shows ever. Just because apart from being like a great wild show, it was a very proud moment, to be in Manila, the city I was born. But anyways, going back to the playing big shows, I don't know, man. It's nice, It's like kind of like there's always like a different vibe, not because it's big, but because it's outdoors. There's just like this whole like campy Friday the 13th feel. It just feels like I don't know, feels like you're going on a hike with your friends. It's just a nice vibe, you feel well taken care of. There's like a lot of catering. There's all kinds of people. You get to sleep at like usually like a nice hotel or something, which isn't always the case. It's just it's like you get to be like a rock star for a day. It's pretty fun. And then and then you go back to the shithole, you know. But yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun, you know. And it's always like, you know what I do? I really like when there's a big crowd, man, because not because it gives me the green light to stage dive, you know, because a lot of times these like small shows, when I stage dive, like there's a big risk I'm gonna fall on my head. But when there's like a lot of people, it's like whatever, man. So I do like that aspect about playing like big concerts, big festivals.
Yeah. So, any big bands that your bands that influence you, you were able to play with them or open for them?
At these festivals or just in general?
Just in general.
Okay, yeah, for sure. We've played with a lot of like big bands, you know, but like what I like is when we're able to tour with a couple of bands, whether it's just like a couple of days, whether it's just a weekend. We've done that with Napalm Death. We've played with Napalm Death quite a bit of times, and that's really nice. I think like maybe 6 or 7 times. So that's like that's fucking amazing. Really cool, humble guys, you know. And they've also let us know like they like teething, which is like wow, which is wonderful to hear, you know. And we've played with like bands like or done short runs tours with bands like Magruder Grind, which apparently are not around anymore, which for us is a huge influence. We played with Despise You from LA, which for me, one of my favorite bands. That was amazing. Let me think what else. I don't know. We've also played we've played small grindcore power violence festivals with bands like Infest or Weekend Nachos or Sex Prisoner. You know, all of that stuff. Like it's really like many times when we play that shows, I'm more looking forward to actually seeing the band. Like I want to get over with the teething set, so just so I can like enjoy Infest live or whatever, you know. So, yeah, man.
So the last tour you came to Manila. That was your first time touring Asia, right?
Correct, man. We had been working on that for a long time, going to Southeast Asia. We had been trying to make it happen for several years. And finally, it happened thanks to the wonderful crew behind Sleeping Boy Collective. I'm pretty sure you're friends with a couple of those people,
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Great, wonderful group of people, and they were the ones that were able to make it happen. And you know Rick, and Rick. Yeah, man. So it was all thanks to those people.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Rick, man. Fuck yeah, he's always, you know, we talk all the time. And it was our first time, and man, that's by far the best experience I've had with teething. And I'm pretty sure the rest of the guys too. Just, you know, being able to tour fucking Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand. We're definitely gonna try to make it happen again. Like, let's see what happens with COVID. But hopefully, like my plan, if everything goes correct, if being able to go back in 2022, you know, and like do a couple other territories, like you know, maybe do China, Korea, Japan, something like that. So we'll definitely try to make it there when our new album comes out.
So how many locations how many cities in Manila that you played?
In Manila, you mean the Philippines?
In the Philippines, yeah.
In the Philippines, I'm pretty sure we did 5 dates in the Philippines. Something interesting about this, I don't know if you checked it out on the teething website and stuff, but we're working right now as an excuse to the COVID and to keep things rolling. We're working on a documentary about our tour. And
I saw
and
that. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I saw the trailer. I was wondering when it's going to come out.
Yeah, man. So we've been working on the whole thing because we were with our friend Enrique Torralbo,
Hmm.
and he just accompanied us on the whole tour, and he filmed everything. We had like 3 cameras on us, so we have like all the concerts filmed, everything, not just the concerts, but just like fucking around in the morning, in the night, whatever,
Right.
going to Jollibee, and so we had all of this material, and we have 500 gigabytes of material. So I've been putting everything together and working on it with David, our bassist, and we're still working on it, but hopefully it'll be out this summer. Because we want to not just stream it online, we also want to release it physically,
Right.
So yeah, and you're actually in it, the Manila
Yeah,
part.
cool. So that's so
Yeah.
cool because you know the band Parkway Drive.
Yeah,
So
man.
where Parkway Drive did, I think around 2011 or 2012, they did like a Southeast Asian tour, and they released a DVD. I'm actually in that DVD.
Nice. Nice. What are you, in the crowd or something?
Yeah. They just took just a look at the crowd, and I was like doing the horns and stuff. So
Nice. Nice. So now you'll be on the teething one too, so that's 2.
yeah. So as I said, the reason I got interested of the teething poster is because of your mascot or your logo, the Ralph. So I know that it's in most of your albums and artwork, right? So
Uh-huh.
how did that happen? That mascot thing. How did you build that mascot?
Okay, so cool question. So Ralph was born very organically, like well, parentheses, like most of the art, yeah, I'd say like, yeah, most of the artwork um is my creation. So like Ralph just was born organically. Like I didn't even sit down and think like, oh, we need a mascot. Just like a little, like there's this like progress. If you look at the first 7-inch, I'd consider the person that's on the cover like Ralph, just the early stages of Ralph, and then that face appears again on a lot of our artwork, and then on the Ralph 7-inch, that's more of his evolution, and then I'd say the final image of Ralph is the one that appears on We Will Regret This Someday. And I don't know, it just happened, man. Like it was cool. It was kind of like, I don't want to sound all spiritual, but it kind of like Ralph found me / us, like, and I'll definitely make sure because right now we're working on the second album, and he'll definitely be on the cover of the second album. He's like our Eddie, Iron Maiden's Eddie.
Right. Yeah. So you know that I got your action figure, and I actually have it on the wall next to the Slayer. Slayer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Ralph is like the 5th one of the Slayer collection because he's actually also has Slayer, wearing Slayer, right?
Yeah, man, he has a Slayer patch for sure, man. Because as Mike Patton says, if you don't like Slayer, I don't trust you, man. Let me see what you got.
Yeah, so this is what I was able to get last time from you guys.
Nice.
Very
okay,
great.
so the album and
yeah, the album and the vinyl. So the regret, I feel that this the word regret is it's appearing in multiple multiple albums, and what's the story about regret? I mean, what are you trying to say?
Okay, so let me think about this. That's cool, man. I don't know if anyone's ever asked me this in an interview. So let me try to be cool about this. So I don't know about you, but I have like a big fear of regret. You know, like I try to live without regrets. You know, but like I think it's very. I think it sometimes it's unavoidable. For example, one of my biggest regrets is never having seen the Beastie Boys live. You know,
Right.
and one of my favorite bands. Um, so regret comes from let me think. I remember when we were working on this album, I came up with the title "We Will Regret This Someday." I told it to the boys, and I was like, "What do you guys think about this title?" And they're like, "What does it mean?" And I'm like, "Well, it can mean something different for each one of us, you know." So I think they like that idea. Like for me in a way, like it also means like when I write teething lyrics, I tend to like tend to cross the line, like but many times while writing the lyrics I'm like, shit, maybe I shouldn't cross the line this far because I might regret it or I might get in trouble, you know. So that was kind of like the idea, like um I might regret these lyrics someday, you know. Which hasn't happened yet, but yeah, it's just and then I don't know, the next EP was called That Night We Regret, which I don't know, I just like the concept of I've had that feeling, you know. Sometimes it's like late at night and you're like kind of regretting something, or you're thinking, shit, am I gonna regret if I do this tomorrow? So
Mhm.
yes, um both those albums work as like complementary pieces, you know. It's just That Night Regret is just the continuation of We Will Regret This Someday.
Right, right.
They're yeah, it's like the sequel, the conclusion to our first album.
Yeah. So when I saw that, the thought I had is like, you guys put up a so extreme show performance that you will you you will regret it someday. You know, it's too extreme.
Our live show.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Too extreme. That's good, man. I mean, we're getting up there. We're pretty fucking old. So if someone tells us that we're still keeping it extreme, that's good, man. That's good. And yeah, another thing was like sometimes I feel like even though this band isn't like I don't know, it's just like we're not we don't take teething that seriously. Like what I mean is like we're not like a full on touring band, you know. We do like dedicate a lot of time to teething, but it's not like our main source of income or anything.
Right.
But sometimes in the past I have like worried like, fuck, do I like, I think like if I dedicated the passion and the time that I do to teething to like my work, like wow, I might be rich, you know. But like, so sometimes I like that balance, like that's where the whole regret thing comes from. Like shit, am I you know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So we talk about artwork. So I know that you also do a lot of drawings and illustrations and art. Can you, and I saw in your profile you released a book called How to Avoid Shit Tattoos.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Were you able to? Did I bring copies of that when I went to Manila? Were you able to pick
No,
one up?
I
Oh
wasn't
shit, man.
able to get it. So so can you tell me about what do you do with the arts and stuff?
Yeah, man. Thanks for asking. You know, like I really like I really like illustration a lot. Ever since I was a little kid, you know. I don't know. I always liked comics and drawing a lot, and there's been like ups and downs. There's as I said, as a kid, I used to draw a lot. Maybe I didn't have that many friends or things to do, but I definitely had time to draw, you know.
Right.
And then like as I got older, there's been times where I don't draw, and then there's times where I draw. But I started to like draw a lot again a couple of years ago, and then I decided to put together this I guess you could call it like a zine or a comic, but but the what's been really cool about this COVID situation
Mm.
is that I've been working on my next comic zine, and so I'm pretty much like 70% done with it. So I think by the time I think I'll be able to, if everything goes well, like in a month or two, probably in 2 months, like I'll be able to release it. So that's cool. It's just a collection of illustrations of me. It's an upgrade from the last one, you know. It's like I compare my first zine, the one I put out, how you well said, how to avoid shit tattoos. I put that out I think 2 years ago.
Mm.
I'd compare that to like the first time Teething put out a 7-inch, you know. Every time you put something out, you learn what not to do, what to do. Oh, this drawing sucks, I can make this better. So I'd say like this next one is gonna be much better, at least in my eyes. So I'll definitely keep you posted about that.
Yeah. So it's quite amazing, no feeling to have a book out.
Yeah, man. Like fuck, that's like it was amazing, man, because you know, I had a lot of support from it, surprisingly, man. You know, like with teething, it's more like the people that are interested in teething are usually like people that are like you, or you know, like I mean, people that like extreme music, or
Mm.
which is what, like 1% of the human race. But like I feel like when I put out like illustration stuff, like I get so much more interest from like kids to older people to family to like people I haven't heard from in many years, from teething fans, from people that like art. So it's like very fulfilling in that aspect. Like I put out 500 copies of that How to Avoid Shit Tattoos, and they sold out pretty quickly, man. I think in a year, like they were done with, you know. So that's wow, man. Like I was able to do some exhibits, like a lot of people came out, a lot of people like wanted to buy. I made posters. Some people bought like some of my original artwork, you know. So I'm very much looking forward to getting into that process again by releasing this new book.
Yeah, I actually I've been thinking also to I've been sort of thinking actually in a sense I'm creating. I wanted to release a book also because I've been to 20 years. I've been to concerts from year 2000 and over probably
Okay,
over
man.
I don't know, maybe 500 concerts or what. I don't know. It's a lot. So
Wow.
I've been collecting, you know, the media photos and stuff for 20 years. So one reason I put out this podcast is so I can release some of these videos, right? So with a much,
Fuck yeah, man.
yeah, so I can also tell the story behind some of them. So I want to
Definitely
actually,
should, man.
yeah,
That's really interesting, you know. Like I, even if I didn't know you, I heard like, oh, this guy that's been going to like punk metal and hardcore shows for the past 20 years in the Philippines just put out a like photography book. Like I would definitely pick that up, you know. So I definitely think you should do something like that, especially now during COVID is when we have time to like work on these like projects, you know.
yeah,
So for sure, man, especially you, because you're a family man, you know. You have like a lot of responsibilities. I'm
right.
surprised you're able to go to so many shows. That's fucking cool, dude.
Yeah. It's just that you have to find, you know, that type of wife who supports you.
Fuck yeah, man. She's a keeper, dude.
Yes. So Luis, I have some albums that I want to show you.
Nice.
So I want to show you some. You mentioned Beastie Boys. It's one of your favorites. So what are some of the songs that you like from Beastie Boys?
Oh man. So okay, so let me erase what I said. Beastie Boys is not one of my favorites, is my favorite, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, dude. So I love their whole discography, man. Like if you were to tell me to pick one song, it
Right.
would be An Open Letter to NYC. off the To the Five Boroughs album,
Right.
which is their yeah, that just because it's like their love letter to New York after the whole September 11th thing happened, and it has that it has the guitar riff sampled from the Dead Boys, and I don't know, it's fucking that song just hits close to my heart because I lived in New York for a couple of years,
Right.
so first, if that would be my favorite Beastie Boys song. Let me flip the question to you. What's your favorite Beastie Boys song?
I like Intergalactic.
Nice, man. For sure, man. One of
Yeah.
the best music videos of all time. Dude.
Yeah, because it's like, the robots and it's like scene from
Yeah,
Japan.
man. Fucking great.
Yeah. I even asked, there's this guy that I'm interviewing next weekend, a rapper actually. He's a rapper. So he's actually, he's one of he's also the favorite artist is Beastie Boys.
Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, of course, man. They went a step further from hip hop, It's like yeah, man, we could just sit here and talk about the Beastie Boys all day. Did you watch the latest documentary? The Beastie Boys
No, not yet. I
okay, you
have
should
to.
definitely watch it. It's on Apple. It's really good. Directed by Spike Jonze. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so I want to show you some CDs.
Nice. Fucking 10 out of 10, man. That fucking album is fucking insane, dude.
Yeah.
That's like, I don't know what you think, but like I'd say Hatebreed Satisfaction is my favorite album.
Okay.
But this one, they like definitely stepped it up, man. Like this one is so fucking sick, man. Like every song on this album is so good, dude. Like
Yeah.
even fuck, there's that one song. I don't know. I just like that song, that album. Like, man, I think that's the first time like a heavy band, like with like distorted guitars, actually gave me like goosebumps or made like my eyes tear up. Just because the lyrics are they're positive, but in a very hateful way. It's like it's kind of like your hate is fueling me, like kind of way. So that fucking album is fucking insane, man.
Yeah. When I
What
heard
do you think about this album?
I Will Be Heard. That's my favorite actually.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Then I have another Hatebreed.
Nice. Supremacy.
Yeah.
Okay. This album, like, to tell you the truth, even though it is a good album, this is when like I started losing a bit of interest in Hatebreed. Like I've always picked up all of their albums, listened to them from start to finish, but here is where personally I saw a decline, even though there's like fucking great songs on this, and I'm pretty sure this is the last album with Sean Martin, which is like one of the greatest guitarists ever alive.
Right.
And has some great fucking riffs on that.
Yeah.
What about you? You like this album?
Yeah, I like this album, and I saw them live. They played in the Philippines, I think 2013 or 14, I can't remember, but they played, and they played like Destroy Everything, and the crowd was so amazing. That performance was so
Yeah,
amazing.
man. Yeah, man, for sure. One of the best live.
Yeah. And then I know you're a big Napalm Death fan, so
Yeah, man.
this one.
Scum. I mean, this is like when the wheel was invented, man. This is like fucking nuts, dude. What can I say, man? Like, first of all, like the cover art to this is like the best thing I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Right.
And although the production is fucking rough as fuck, like
Yeah.
this has like also some of the best riffs. Like this is like teething ripoff 101, all of those riffs, man. Like that we stole it all from that, dude.
Yeah.
Great album. What?
Yeah, were
Go
you
ahead.
also influenced by this artwork of Napalm Death on your drawing?
For sure. For sure, man. For sure. More on, not really my drawings, illustration, but more on my collages. If you look at the first teething 7-inch, I
Right.
kind of copied the layout for that. Like the background is yellow, the composition
Right.
of the kid with all the teeth is similar to this album. So yeah, man, like fucking nuts that album, dude.
Yeah. And then I have like just one more. This one.
Utopia Banished. Okay, nice, nice. I'd say to tell you the truth, I probably like this one more than Scum. Okay.
Right.
But my favorite early Napalm Death is From Enslavement to Obliteration. But I do also very much like their mid '90s era with where they had kind of a more like groovy industrial thing going on. And I also really like all of their later, like all of the stuff they do now. But this is also a fucking classic, dude.
Yeah. So
What about you? What's your favorite Napalm Death?
I think Scum.
Nice, dude. Nice.
I don't know if you know this band.
Flatbush. I
Flatbush.
am not aware of this band.
So this is actually Filipino band based in, I think, in San Francisco.
Nice.
It's a grindcore band.
Wow.
You should
Okay,
check them
I
out.
definitely check this out.
Yeah, because
Okay, what's the name of the album?
the name of the album is Smash the Octopus.
Nice. What kind of grindcore is it? Is it like more punkier or more metal? What?
I think it's more punk.
Okay, nice.
Punk
That's
leaning.
the kind of grind I like.
Yeah, it's because they're like more screaming and very fast, short tracks. See, it's very Filipino inspired
Fuck yeah.
artwork. You should check them out. Flatbush.
Nice. Thank you very much. I definitely will, man. Flatbush, and they're from San Francisco.
I think they're probably Filipinos born there or moved there. I don't know the exact story, but yeah, I can send you the details later.
Please, yeah. I was writing it right now, but if you could send me the details, that would be sick.
Yeah, because
sure.
when I heard teething, and then I just remembered, okay, the Flatbush probably the closest band that I know.
Nice, dude. What about like right now in Manila? Like, how's the like? If you could name one local band that's your favorite, whether it's punk, hardcore, grind, metal.
Local band. It's very hard to say. I don't know.
Because there's been like there's like a hype, for lack of a better word, hype going around that band called Bard, right? Bard.
Yeah, Bard, yes, right.
Yeah, good.
Bard,
They're good.
Yeah, they're good. And then there's a couple of band. Bard actually, yeah, they released also I think their first EP or album. And then there are a couple of new bands that I'm following. Like they're not specifically hardcore, but there's like Fragments. These guys called Fragments. They released this song called Heaven's Gate. You know the
Nice.
Heaven's Gate thing, the Heaven's Gate cult. So they did a very they did a very crazy imagery like videos and stuff. Luis, do you know the band Ghost Inside?
Yes, I am aware of the Ghost.
Have you seen that new song from them? The video?
No.
I
haven't.
Man, that you should check them out because you know, right? They got into an accident a few years back, and then they
very unfortunate. Yeah.
And then one of the drummer lost part of the leg, and they came up with this new video with their playing now with new shows and stuff. It's so amazing. You should check that out. Aftermath.
I'll check out the new Ghost Inside for sure.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, the video.
Okay.
Yeah, so Luis, any message to your fans from the Philippines and from
man,
East Asia?
Well, of course, I mean, to all of my Filipino brothers and sisters, we very much miss you all. Like, just so you know, we got I don't know if you're aware of this, we all got like a tattoo in Manila.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, because we have this one song called "Shit Generation," but instead of "Shit Generation," we got um "Pancit Generation" because
Okay.
we were eating pancit all the fucking time, and there's like it has an X on it,
Right.
but it's a fork and a spoon. Because for those of you who don't know, um, Filipinos don't like knives. No
Right.
need for a knife. Yeah, man. So like, yeah, man. Man, like, what, dude? The guy we went on tour with, Enrique Torralbo, he's been like, he's traveled all around the world, man.
Right.
And just so you know, he was like, when we were like already like 5, 6 days in the Philippines, he was like, dude, Luis, Filipinos are the nicest people I've ever met, and I've been like all around the world. So that's for sure. Like Filipinos are so nice, so welcoming, and very good sense of humor, which is really important.
Mm.
Yeah, man. So that's my messages. Will be back as soon as we can. I'm if everything goes okay, we're gonna try to make it there in 2022. Not promising anything, but that is the goal.
Right.
And we'll see how that goes, man. And everyone, like, stay tuned for the documentary and the new album, which should have already been recorded, but we've been on lockdown,
Mm.
so the new album's already written. We just need to record it. So this, if everything goes well, um we're gonna record as soon as possible. This, we already have time booked in the studio. We've just been having to move it because the whole COVID situation is not letting us leave the house. But we have this new album in the works, which is gonna be great, and a couple of split EPs in the works too. So next year should be very cool year for teething. So
Yeah.
hopefully you all check that out, man.
Yeah, we are looking forward to that. So, Luis, anybody you want to specifically shout out to?
Well, shout out to you and to your beagles, dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course, shout out to everyone at Sleeping Boy, you know, Egg, Tan, CJ, we miss you all.
Mm.
Darwin, Rick, fuck yeah, man. Everyone, dude. Everyone that came out to the shows, man. Like we're this documentary is dedicated to all of you. You guys are gonna like it a lot. It's gonna be released in different episodes.
Right.
There's gonna be an episode for each continent. So our
Okay.
first episode will be in Batangas.
Right. Right.
Third episode is Manila. So
Nice.
you
Looking
should
forward
look
to
forward
that.
to that one.
So,
Yeah, man.
Luis, I want to thank you for joining this joining this podcast today. So, I started this because I'm quite bored. Nowhere to go, concerts or anything. So I thought of starting this podcast, and I got a lot of feedback, a lot of good responses. Uh, I already done 15 episodes. This will be the 16th episode. So
Fuck yeah,
bands
man.
bands from Singapore, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Philippines, so many places, and you're from
Yeah,
Spain.
Spain, dude. Fuck
So,
yeah, man.
yeah,
Thanks a
so
lot, man. Sorry, go ahead. Didn't want to cut you off.
yeah, I just want to say thanks, man. Thanks for joining this.
No,
Really appreciate.
thank you, thank you for the support. And this kind of stuff is very important, to keep the scene alive. Not just it's not all about the bands or booking shows. It's also important to do these kind of things, whether it's interviews, fanzines, or podcasts. So thank you to you, man.
Yeah. So because the other thing is now typically what I notice is that this form of long form sort of discussion will allow you to express more, good memories and good experiences and stuff that you would normally won't be able to talk about in a quick type of interview, right?
For sure, man. Yeah, yeah. I've really been, because I've done a couple of these during the COVID, and it's been fun. And I
Mm.
feel like I'm actually really looking forward to going to Manila and like fucking having some ube ice cream with you now, man. You know?
So okay, Luis. So enjoy your coffee and have a great day. So thank you again.
I will, dude.
See you.
All right, have a good week, dude.
See you.
Peace. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fucking do this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a celebration. This is homecoming. We are fucking do this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a celebration. This is homecoming. We are cheering from Madrid and Manila. I want you to sing with me. Puta Vida Mo. This song is called White Cross Revolution. Puta Vida Mo. Are you ready? Salamat po!